one.
Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy car enthusiast and Dave's fiance, Dustin reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
To heal. Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, and we are back this week with another choice from our good friend Boris. So Boris, why don't you tell us what film you subjected with us this week?
This week it's the movie We Need to Talk About Kevin by the director.
And it's not Kevin McAllister.
yeah, not Kevin. Interestingly enough, because last time it was my turn, I chose The Good Son, where Kevin McAllister or Macaulay Culkin played a psychopath kid, and according to the description of this movie, I expected it to be kind of like The Good Son, but maybe more modern and more hardcore. But it turned out different from what I expected, but okay, we will get into that.
Okay.
So, yeah, we need to talk about Kevin from 2011, directed by Lynne Ramsay, written by Lynne Ramsay, Rory Stewart Kinnear, and Lionel Shriver, and starring Tilda Swinton, John C. Reilly, and Ezra Miller. And it says Kevin's mother struggles to love her strange child despite the increasingly dangerous things he says and does as he grows up. But Kevin is just getting started, and his final act will be beyond anything anyone imagined. So, was this the first time you watched this movie, and what were your first impressions?
Tammy, why don't you go ahead? Was this the first time for you?
Yes. It was a little fun to follow because it constantly is flipping back and forth and back and forth. So, it took to almost the end of the movie to find out what Kevin really did, you know. But it even with the flipping back and forth, it was still interesting enough, you know, because you wanted to find out what exactly happened, you know. How did things get to this, you know? So,
yes.
But yeah, you know, it was interesting. It was kind of more of a drama thriller type of a thing, you know. But yeah, like I said, it was interesting.
Okay. Um, this film was always well, somewhat on my radar because it's been mentioned before in discussions with the other guys before, and I know it's been mentioned on horror lists before, and um, I remember there was talk about it at the time that it came out, and Tilda Swinton, she's got definitely uh, interesting uh, filmography. She was in the remake of Suspiria. And I know that she's been in other things that I know were good. But uh, having her be this, uh, it seemed like she was like a travel agent uh, before and after. So um, I feel like she was gone most of the time on trips, which is why she mapped out her wall with maps and stuff like that later on. But as far as my first impressions, I feel like this was like a kaleidoscope, a look at what happened, uh, forwards, backwards, and aftermath.
Uh,
uh, and it wasn't trying to entirely punch you in the face with it. It was giving you the slow realization, like this kid was just evil from the beginning, uh, uh, nasty from the beginning. You know.
uh, I have mixed thoughts about that, but we will get to it.
Well, there were times he could be nice, but when he was nice to his mom, he was horrible to him. You know. And that's how I feel. It's like he was hot and cold to both of his parents.
Yeah.
And he was just really nasty to his little sister.
True.
I mean, when she was born, he threw water on her face, you know. So,
Yes. Mm,
but in any case, at the end of the day, do I like it? I'm glad I finally saw it. It was interesting, but I also happen to know a little bit about Ezra's personal life too. So that's kind of what turns me off from it.
Oh, I remember you mentioned some drama about him when we were discussing The Flash, but I forgot what exactly was the matter with him.
I believe that he has been accused of rape in other countries. If I am not mistaken, and I don't know, there's just something off about him in general. That I think a lot of people. That's why there isn't going to be a Flash 2 or anything like that. You know.
Ah, so this was a fitting role for him.
I guess so, but you'd have to go into Ezra's background and whatnot to understand what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure that that there were some. accusations, at least in that way of things. So, alrighty. But at the end of the day, it was well put together. Let's put it that way.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. Are you?
Although
Do
I
you have
don't,
anything?
I don't think that the mother should have gotten that much treatment from the townsfolk. If you get my drift.
Oh, oh yes,
Well,
yes.
they were looking for somebody to blame.
Yeah.
Well, the one to blame was in prison. What else did they want?
Retribution. They wanted their kids back, or at least the ones who died, and we don't even know who all died. There was one survivor that came up and talked to her, which I'm sure we'll get into. But
Oh, yeah. So, my first impressions, or do you still have anything to add?
no. John C. Riley. Well, I've seen him in the musical Chicago and the Vampire Assistant, and uh, Walk Hard. I think was another one I remember him from.
Oh,
He's a decent actor.
oh,
Other than that,
yes.
I think that's pretty much it.
Oh, so in my case, this was the first time I watched the movie, but like I said, I had entirely different expectations from it. I thought it would be more like The Good Son, just more modern and maybe more hardcore with more killings and stuff. This movie being made the way it was, with this fragmented storyline jumping back and forth and so on, to be honest, I found it kind of mentally draining and annoying, which could have partially been because I had a really bad day before I went to watch the movie, so I really. It really wasn't easy for me to make my brain work like a supercomputer and pay hyper attention to all the details and piece things together. And a lot of it was told just through some bizarre imagery without explicitly showing what happened.
Well, if
Which
you don't
truth,
feel comfortable hosting this one, I suppose I could.
I think I. Well, we will see, I guess, but maybe I can. I'm sorry, it's not really anyone's fault. Some shit happened to me today.
That's okay. Tammy told me I had to kind of pay attention to this one because it kept going back and forth, so I did.
Yeah. Now,
Frankly, I could actually put them together.
yes. Now, one thing I'd like to say about what you said before about Kevin being bad from the very beginning, I have mixed thoughts about that. I think he was born with some mental condition which probably wasn't diagnosed properly, but I don't think he necessarily had to turn out the way he did. I think it was whatever he was born with combined with the early childhood trauma because as a baby we could see the mother was struggling to care for him as much as he needed, and she even broke his arm when he was very young. So all that was probably traumatic for him and
Well,
impacted his mental
you
development and
also have
turned
to
him.
talk. You also have to talk about the mother because I think she was going through some postpartum depression while she was
Yes.
pregnant as well. She wasn't really taking the pregnancy all that well either.
Oh yes, and all that probably
And
contributed to.
some audio about her always having to go elsewhere, where with her travel agency thing. It seems like that was a stress thing that the husband didn't like.
If the child was getting separated from her at the early age, like age 1 to 3 or 4, that could have been very traumatic. That's a matter I have actually been studying a lot recently since I have interest in psychology. And that can cause complex PTSD. Okay, what this guy was doing maybe wasn't quite a symptom of complex PTSD, but combined with whatever he was born with, like the mother took him to some sort of professional only when he was very little, and as far as we could see, she gave up on that. So it's questionable. That first doctor said that there was nothing wrong with the kid, but who knows? That what doctor can be wrong? She should have gone for second opinions.
And
Uh,
and even third opinions for that, and fourth opinions for that matter, until she, because a mother's intuition that something is wrong, somebody will actually eventually speak up and say, "Oh, he's acting really peculiar. Maybe he's
oh,
actually not just acting out. Maybe he has a symptom of something."
oh yes. So I do think he was born with
And
something,
that
but I
was just a medical doctor that she took him to, not a psychologist.
and who was it? I forgot.
I don't remember who it was. All I know is that he was Chinese American.
Uh, Well, yeah, so I do think he was born with some mental condition, maybe some neurodivergence or something, but I don't think he was necessarily born with what we call psychopathic personality disorder. I think his personality, the way it was shaped as a combination of whatever he was born with and childhood neglect trauma and some physical abuse too. The mother freaking broke his arm.
Yeah, but he was being really nasty for the age that he was, and at the age that he was already talking about sex. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
do you know what he said? He said "fucking" in the one moment, and she was like, "Do you know what that is?"
uh, yes, and it wasn't even explained where he learned about that.
No,
And he showed.
he actually explained it like they were talking about anal. So,
Oh
because
yeah, dude, he said doo. That's
yeah, that's
yeah,
another way for what comes out of your butthole.
yes. So he did know a little bit, but. Not everything, but even what he did know, we could kind of wonder where he learned all that.
Well, yeah, even while she was trying to teach him his C's, he seemed way too way too smart. You know,
Uh, yes.
what did you think about Kevin growing up, or as he was beginning to grow up, or whatnot, Tammy?
Um, I think that yeah, he was very smart, but I think he just kind of he kept lashing out because he was smart and you know was maybe bored with everything around him, or he just you know I no one can really say why he acted totally the way he did. I mean, it it almost seemed like he was bored with life and his parents and everything around him. So the only way to have some excitement was to do the opposite of what he was supposed to do. You know, that's kind of what it seemed like.
So, do you think he was born bad, or do you think it was a result of a childhood trauma, or a combination of both?
I didn't really see any childhood trauma. His parents, you know, they both tried to do things, and like David said earlier, you know, when he chose to be nice to mom, then he was terrible to dad, and vice versa. It was, oh, today is dad's day, I'm going to be nice to him, and I'm not going to be nice to her then. You know, it's like
Uh,
he couldn't be nice to both of them at the same time. You know, and then when the sister came around, then he had like another little scapegoat for his antics. So
uh, yeah, but when I said childhood trauma, I mean things like when he was a baby, his mother was probably wasn't taking as much care as she should have. There were probably times when actually we saw that there were times when he was crying and she was failing to calm him down, and that can, when a baby is subjected to such experiences too much, that can impact the mental development
When
later
a
on.
child is continually crying and there's nothing you can do to stop it,
Uh, well, either when there is nothing you can do to stop it, or when the child doesn't receive something to calm down. When the baby is crying, and if it's just left to cry until it stops, that's a traumatic experience for a baby, because a baby, that's something I was once studying about. A baby knows only two different states, pleasant and unpleasant. And when the baby is feeling unpleasant, it's to a baby it's terrifying, because it doesn't have a conscious mind yet to know what is causing it to feel that way. For example, if the baby is hungry, it experiences pain, and it doesn't know where that pain is coming from, and it's to a baby it's shocking and terrifying, and if it doesn't in such a moment, if it doesn't receive food or whatever to calm down, that's actually bad for the baby's further mental
okay, but if there
development.
is nothing that the child, nothing that you can do that the child that supposedly is supposed to help calm the child down, and the child just does not calm down, no matter what you do, what do you
Oh,
do?
it
oh,
seemed like she was doing everything,
Yes.
and nothing made him stop crying. And then when she
well,
finally
in
got
that
him to
case,
quit crying,
I
the
think
father
she
came
should.
in.
Yes,
In that case, what?
when she wasn't able to make him calm down, no matter what she did, I think she should have consulted a doctor about it.
Well, she eventually did consult the doctor after he was a little bit more than a baby, and the doctors tried to tell her there was nothing wrong with him. I mean, obviously, he was in diapers a lot longer than he should have been.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, after the accident happened and he broke his arm, then all of a sudden he learned how to use the bathroom. You know, he knew all along, and he knew all along.
Yep.
And it was a way to get attention, and among other things that he did, once he got past being a baby. But I'm just saying, you know, I don't really think the parents are anything to blame in this. I think both parents tried to do the right things, and she did go see a doctor. And the doctor's like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with him." Well, obviously there was.
Yes, I do think there was something wrong with him, but what I'm saying is maybe he wouldn't have gone as far as he did if his childhood had been different. The mother was depressed when he was a baby, and babies can sense that, and when she is depressed, she is probably not capable of giving a child quite as much affection as the child needs,
I
and
don't
that
believe.
can.
I'm sorry, I don't believe in any of that stuff. All your little, all I watched all these. I watch all this crime stuff all the time on TV, and that's one thing that annoys the living daylights out of me.
What?
Is, um, oh, my father was mean to me. Oh, my dad beat me. Oh, my mom. So that's why I did what I did. That's why I'm like this. That's why this. No, I don't care what your damn childhood was. You have a choice of how to behave, of how to react, of how to do whatever. All these nasty people sit here and they blame this. They blame everybody but themselves for what they did.
Well, it's often true that they wouldn't have done what they did if they
No,
didn't have mental
No,
issues
there's
that
caused by
people.
hasn't been
the.
There's people
proved.
out there that are just as that are nasty as all hell, and they were raised with you know, with money and everything they could want in life, and they
Well, it,
and they still turned out to be a killer or a rapist or whatever.
Like the Mendez brothers.
Well,
So
there are cases when that's true, but there are also cases when someone becomes bad as a result of legitimate mental issues. Both things can happen.
I I just don't believe it. I think it's a scapegoat. I didn't have the greatest childhood. Am I out there killing everybody?
Well, no, but the way
As
a
I
child.
made a choice. I made a choice of how I was going to act. And I'm not sitting here blaming anybody for anything. It's you have a choice. And it is I
Well,
am sorry, it is not people could come from the roughest, toughest parts of life in town, and they still have a choice of what they're going to do.
And you, there is a sense of right and wrong. There is a sense of good and bad.
Right. So I
And
don't blame the parents at all. This I From what we saw, the parents did try.
yes,
Okay, and evidently nothing was good enough. There was just something not right in his brain.
well, what about when he was like 4 years old or so and the mother broke his arm? What about that?
But it was an
she'd have
accident.
had had enough with his shenanigans. So,
It
in a
was an
sense,
accident. She
it
didn't
was an accident. She didn't.
walk up to him and snap it.
No,
Well, yes, she didn't mean to do that. That much is true. But when something like that happens to a child so young, it can still impact their mental
but
development
he
since
deserved it.
he deserved
If
to
it
have
left that
his
much of
arm
a
broken
mental
at that age.
if it left that much of a mental impression upon him, then why did he lie about how it happened and protect her?
Right.
Uh, huh, why? Okay, good question.
Because it did not make that much of a mental impression upon him. He knew damn well it was an accident, and he knew why It happened, and he knew it was his fault that the accident happened.
He made her break his arm. Let's put it that way. He manipulated her into doing so. And unfortunately, your theory about okay, if the child had not been traumatized when he was a kid, when he was a child, is not something that I would say is a proven theory. That he
Well,
his life would have never ended up the way it did.
well, I heard that theory in an official lecture I attended at a therapy school.
Ah,
Of
well,
course, they're gonna say that. I told you I watch all this crime stuff all the time. Crime shows and everything, and you know, every single one of them, the psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever you want to say, all come in and all do their little profile, and they all do their little thing about, oh, his father was an alcoholic, and his mom was a druggie, and oh, his dad beat him, or this. So, they always go back to what was his childhood like?
they
What was his
always
childhood like?
try to look for a motive or a reason why, and
Right.
sometimes there isn't one.
And
And
they
then
all,
they're all theorizing. Okay, this is why this happened, and this is why this happened. But oftentimes, and this happens more than they say it does. Oftentimes, you will find out that kid had the most perfect childhood that they ever had, didn't have any incidences, and yet they went on a flipping gun raging path and shot up all the kids in their school.
Well,
So
that also exists. There are some cases like that
not
too,
just
but
some, not just some. I'm saying that's 90% of the cases out there.
or you got parents that are a bunch of fucking idiots, like the girl that her father's in Madison, Wisconsin right now. Her father is on trial because he went and bought the damn guns and gave them to his daughter because she wanted guns and she wanted to learn how to shoot. And he bought her the guns so she wouldn't shut up her school.
holy shit, I somehow missed that. When did that happen?
I don't know, earlier at the end of last year or whatever. It just was on the news that now he is on trial because he supplied her with the guns. She's
Well,
15 years old. He bought the guns.
well, yes, I think he is responsible if he bought the guns for her.
Yep.
Now in that instance, yeah, okay, the parenting did have something to do with why it happened. Okay, in
Oh,
that instance,
yes.
yes, but that's a plain out there, blatantly, that the parent was involved in this.
Okay, the father in here blatantly kept buying him bow and arrows.
But he thought that that was a hobby for him, and that he was giving him something to do, something that he enjoyed as a hobby. You know, just you know, just,
Oh,
Well,
yes.
he's
just
another
like
one who didn't see the wrong in this kid.
well, because his father, archery is actually considered a sport. So you know, he didn't get into baseball and football or whatever, or this or that, but he liked archery. Archery is considered a sport.
Well, truth be told, when Kevin was still young, the arrows the father gave him weren't those that could really hurt. They were those that just get stuck to the target.
Right, because he got into Peter Pan and all that kind of stuff, and as he grew up, he continued to be, and the father encouraged it because he just like any father would encourage a kid that liked baseball and go buy him a baseball bat or a glove, or if the kid liked football, he'd go buy him whatever, or soccer or whatever. Same thing.
Oh,
That's what he was
yes.
buying them, the bows and arrows, because this was something that he got into, and he was encouraging an interest.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can go beat somebody over the head with a baseball bat and kill him too.
Yeah.
So if the kid liked baseball and you went and bought him a baseball bat and a glove, you know, were you encouraging him to go beat somebody over the head with a baseball bat?
No.
No.
But give a kid anything that resembles a weapon, eventually figure out how to kill someone with it.
If that's in their nature, yes.
Yes.
I think that I think Kevin, people are born actually with a mental imbalance, I think he was born with a mental imbalance, and it was something that was not caught early on. And the mother did try. She took him to the doctor and said things weren't right.
Yes, she did, but only when he was older. What I was saying is, as soon as she couldn't calm him down when he was a baby, she should have taken him to a doctor right
She
away.
never could get him to calm down.
I don't, but see, at that, I don't know what years they're trying to say this will actually happen and stuff, but you know, the
What?
baby with him as a baby, that he wouldn't calm down. I don't know if you know.
I don't think he ever did calm down unless he was in the father's presence.
I
Yeah, he wasn't calming down even as a baby. So what I'm saying is, she shouldn't have waited so long. She should have taken him to a doctor already when he was a baby.
But if this happened like back in the '60s and '70s, do you think that the doctors would have known anything to do about it? They would
No.
have just sent her away like they sent her away when he was once he got older.
Yeah, at that time maybe they wouldn't know what to do.
And I'm assuming that we don't know when the time period was, so we can't really put a prick on what she could or couldn't have done, at least at that point in time, because it kept going back and forwards. We didn't really know what time this took place in. We know that this film was filmed in 2011, but it could have been depicting something from like the 40s or 50s, if you think about it. Well, but I don't think so.
Well,
I think it actually looks like it was depicting at least the 70s, maybe the 80s.
well, they okay when Kevin was a child, not yet, but when he was a teenager already, he had the computer and there were CDs and stuff.
Okay, well that could have still been. He could have had that stuff in the late '80s, '90s.
Yep,
A CD that can contain
a
malicious
virus,
software.
a
Yes, yes,
virus that
yes.
conked out all of our computers. Yes, there were viruses back in the 80s.
They were being spread through CDs.
Um, that would have been an early 90s thing, at least.
Huh. Well, that makes
Because
sense.
CDs have been around since the late 70s.
No, there were also cars, but I didn't really pay attention to how old they looked. Maybe Tabby can say more about that.
Let's see.
Her car, her little wagon thing
Yeah, her
was
little.
Yes.
that was probably like an 80s.
Huh. Interesting.
When were CDs invented? Yep, CDs were invented in 1979.
1979.
Yep.
Interesting.
But they did
Uh,
not become popular then.
they weren't popular until 1982. So,
Whew.
and it was Sony and Philips who had actually invented the first CDs. So,
Yes.
just to clarify that.
Interesting.
And CDs are not obsolete yet. I still use them. So,
Me too, sometimes.
but are CDs obsolete for you, Tammy?
No,
Alrighty. So,
that was one of the things I liked about Critter.
so, where are we as far as the movie goes? So, the film flips back and forward in their lives. Let's talk about each character separately, maybe. Let's talk about the mother. She's a travel agent. I think she's a travel agent during her life, before and after the incident that we later find out about.
Yes.
When we also, during the whole film, realize that she is visiting her son in jail. But we um now, does it look like her and the father have a good relationship?
It does, but it doesn't seem like they're
Ooh.
together anymore when she's visiting him in jail. When when she's visiting him in jail is what I guess you want to say present time. So when she's visiting him in jail, it seems like she is on her own, and um, you don't you don't see the father and the sister anymore in the present time.
No.
You know, it's like after whatever after the incident happened, it seemed like they must have gone their separate ways because you see her getting back out there in the world, looks like, basically, and getting that job, and it's only her at that house.
And it's not until the end that we realize that is actually not the case. Um, uh, Apparently, the same day that okay, and this is spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Kevin
Well, yeah.
event Kevin eventually goes to a school, locks everybody inside, and appears to shoot every damn one of them. And when
Well,
she
not
gets home,
everybody. It's some sort of event in the gym, and he just randomly starts shooting people with arrows. He doesn't have enough arrows to shoot everybody.
well, yeah,
But yes,
she
it
eventually
event.
hears about the event, goes and sees him get arrested. But when she arrives back home, she finds her husband and her daughter both shot down with the same arrows that he went and shot the people up at school.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you don't see them in the present time. But
Yeah,
you don't know that until like towards the end. So in
I
the
must
so
say,
so during the movie, you just see her on her own, but you don't know why she's on her own.
Correct.
well, truth be told, precisely because we don't see them in the present time, I found their deaths very predictable. Throughout the whole movie, as I saw they weren't there, I expected they would get killed by Kevin.
I either thought that he killed them or
They or he just decided to leave her one day with the
right.
daughter,
Yeah. It was gonna
and
be
because he was talking about custody a little bit before that happened.
Uh, oh yeah, yeah, they were discussing a divorce.
So
I don't know if they were totally discussing a divorce as they were discussing Kevin. Because after you see them having this discussion, they go in, are all cuddly in bed. And what Kevin overheard, he said, I'm the complex. I'm the, I'm the context of your
Y-
discussion.
yes,
So I don't think they were totally discussing divorce. I think they were discussing what they were going to do with him, and they were going to try and ride it out till the end of the school year, and then figure out what they needed to do. But
uh,
they kind of leave
yeah.
you wondering either way. But for two people that are talking about getting divorced, I don't think that they would sit there and be all lovey dovey and going to sleep and cuddling with each other right after a divorce discussion.
Actually, truth be told, while I was watching the movie, I didn't fully understand what they were talking about. But then, when I read it on Wikipedia, there it says they were discussing a divorce. But maybe that's wrong.
well, maybe they were discussing a divorce. Who knows? But if they were, then why were they lovey-dovey? Like Tammy said, like afterwards. It's like, come on now. But I do think that the husband uh, thought that she was the one who had the problem. Thought that the son was innocent of many things, and
I
didn't.
think the I think the night of that discussion, though, that he was starting to realize that there was a problem, and it was not her. You know,
That's a possibility, but I still think he's my son. I'll protect him no matter what he does, kind of a guy.
I think he didn't want. I don't think he wanted to admit that there was a problem with him,
No, I think he wanted to chalk it up to him being a boy, and
which is
uh,
something that he had said more than once.
yes, and I know that she was thinking for a while there that it was all in her head. But
Yeah.
this kid just did not want to have his parents be nice to him at all. Like she tried to be nice to him. She took him mini golfing and took him out to dinner, and he predicted exactly what he thought she would do. During that, and that was kind of cruel, but it was something that he kind of expected of her to do, as if he was just this was just a ritual, and it's not the way to do things or whatnot, according maybe to him. What did you think about that Boris?
Uh, I'm sorry, I had some audio glitches. Can you please repeat what moment you were talking about? I didn't hear it properly.
The time that the mother took the son out to mini golf and dinner.
Yes. Oh, when he was insulting her and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he did go too far for not much of a reason at that point.
Well, yeah, because I think she was actually trying to be decent to him,
Yes, in the,
trying to treat him as the adult that he wanted her. He wanted her to treat him as, even though she'd caught him masturbating one time.
oh yeah, and he wasn't ashamed at all.
But in any case, what did you think about that moment, Tammy?
I thought he was just a smart asshole. You know,
And what did you think about how he treated his sister?
Uh,
I think he treated his sister the way he did because what um he wanted all the attention and all the attention all the time, and now he couldn't. You know, in order to get more attention, now he had to work even harder. He had to act out even more or even worse to get attention because she was there.
Uh, the only thing I failed to predict about what he was going to do to his sister was how he was going to rip her eye out. I thought he would do it with an arrow, but it turned out to be this chemical for cleaning the drain or whatever.
Which they don't show you exactly what happens, so you don't know if he poured on her or if he poured it on her and then blamed it on her that the cap was off and it fell on her or what, somehow,
Uh,
you know.
yeah, like
And I
he
hate
just
that the husband made her apologize. Well, didn't he make her apologize?
uh to who for what?
No, she made him. She made the husband made the mother thank him for calling the
Calling,
ambulance.
right.
Ah,
But and that if he actually dumped it on her, the little girl never even said anything. That's why you wonder how did that get in her eye,
yeah, there was a lot left ambiguous throughout the movie, and truth be told, I found that kind of annoying.
Well, and Kevin kept calling her stupid and retarded and all these kinds of other words, and the mother kept having to tell her that she's not stupid, that she's not retarded, and that she's not all that her brother tells her she is. You know,
Yes, yes, that was happening.
because he told her to bring. He basically ordered her around to have her bring him things and stuff like that. But
Uh,
ultimately, oh, and you also get to see the aftermath of her getting hired at this job, which I think it's a little funny that the lady in charge. I remember her being the husband of the guy in Men in Black that gets that her her husband, his skin gets taken by the bug. uh, that woman that gets uh, flashy thinged by Will Smith's or the when they gave her a new story and whatnot. He told her to go get a new dress and new outfit and stuff.
Okay.
That was her. That was her. So I've seen her in other things too, but she told her, "I don't care about your past or what you do. All I care about is that you know how to type." And basically like that. And she was like, "Oh, cool, thank you."
Ah, yes.
And none of those people treated her any kindly. And the one guy, he just kept wanting to get in her pants. He kept looking up her dress when she was decorating the Christmas stuff. And when he asked her to dance, and she told him no, no thanks, he basically got down in her face and said, "Who will want you anyways?" Even after this.
Yeah.
So I don't like how people treat her all the way around. I don't feel like she deserved all the hate that people were giving
Well,
her.
well, no, I mean, okay, it can be discussed whether she could have done better with her son or not, but that's stuff that those people couldn't have known either way. So,
I don't think she could have done any better.
yeah,
To be, I know you do, and I know you feel like she could have, but I don't. I'm kind of in agreement with Tammy. So
Okay, but like I said, that's something that could be discussed, but in this case, the culprit was already in prison, so those people attacking her was just stupid.
oh, I
So
think
he was
so.
already in prison. They didn't have anybody else to make a scapegoat. So
Yep.
why not take out all their frustration, their hurt, and their anger and everything else on there's only one person left because they can't get at him.
I mean, technically, he came from her loins, so she must be at fault.
That's a stupid way of seeing things.
It may be stupid, but it's what people become vultures about sometimes.
Yes, unfortunately true.
I mean, as soon as somebody does something wrong, then there's always someone trying to get on the bandwagon about. Don't you ever listen to that guy ever again? Now, that dude's music is crap. You know what he did? Or look what happened with well, should I say Weinstein or Bill Cosby or people of that nature. As soon as uh, they heard about that, the Me Too movement rose up. The statute of rape limits was uh, evidently looked past, and he went to jail. And evidently there were some statues of Bill Cosby somewhere. They knocked them down during protests of Bill Cosby. Like as soon as he got in jail, they decided to destroy whatever the fuck they monumented in his name. You know, because they want apparently people were acted out and wanted to erase him uh, in a sense. So, uh, well, we've talked about this before with Aunt Jemima and other things, but it's funny how cancel culture has kind of destroyed a lot of things. But
Yes, sometimes they even contradict themselves, like when they, as we discussed not too long ago, when they canceled, when they canceled To Kill a Mockingbird for racism, and that's actually a story that speaks against racism.
yeah,
Bullshit.
they were afraid that of the coming. I believe that was during the when we had a lot of uh, shootings in Milwaukee and whatnot of cops against cops who would shoot African Americans. And I believe it started with George
Floyd.
Floyd. Yes, it actually started a long time before that. But I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of Rodney King, but that was a huge
Uh,
one here in Milwaukee.
doesn't
It's
ring
not
a
that he was
bell, I'm
shot.
sorry.
It's not that he was shot. He was beat badly, if I remember correctly.
And he was not beaten badly here.
Well, he was beat badly somewhere.
But anyways, yeah, it's we were talking about that the other day that it's not um you know they've done it's things are I think there's more racism now than there ever was because of all this cancel culture crap, you know. So
Yes, pretty much.
Oh, I agree. But in any case, um, I do believe that. Okay, we've talked about much of the main stuff, much of what was going on. I do believe that there is one last moment where we get Mumsy, because that's what Kevin calls her sometimes.
Yes.
Uh, she comes to him and asks him why he did it, and what was
And
his response?
he said something like, at some point I think I knew, but now I'm not so sure anymore, or something like that. And yeah, he doesn't really say why.
What did you think about the ending when she asked him why,
Well,
Tammy?
it's
I think that's what he said, and but it's like when you see the footage of him getting arrested, he thought it was great. He walked out, here I am, and then you see like a flashback in his mind of you know everybody like praising him,
uh,
and that's what
yeah.
was going on in his mind. He just wanted the attention, he wanted the fame, he wanted the I'm going to be on the news, I'm going to be remembered, I'm going to
This is Kevin
Uh,
in a heartbeat. I think it's like this: you wake and watch TV, you get in your car, and listen to the radio. You go to your little jobs or little school, but you don't hear about that on the 6 o'clock news. Why? Because nothing is really happening. And you go home and watch some more TV, and maybe it's a fun night, and you go out and watch a movie. I mean, it got so bad that half the people on TV, inside the TV, they're watching TV. What are these people watching? People like me.
Yeah, well, one thing that doesn't make sense to me is that she apparently waited 2 years to ask him why. Like, wouldn't she ask him why the first time she gets to see him?
Yep. Here's another quote. You know, you can be kind of harsh sometimes. You're one to talk. Or me
How
and
do you
Kevin were
ask? How
playing
do you ask
Christmas
your?
kidnapping.
How do you ask your kid that killed his father and sister and injured and killed how many other people? Why? You know, how do you ask them that? Maybe that's why she didn't. It took so long, because how do you ask them? You
Oh,
know, and and then on the other side of that, do you really want to know the answer?
Not really.
in my case, yes, because I despise uncertainty.
Unfortunately, sometimes uncertainty is the answer. I used to think I knew. Now I'm not so sure. Time's up. Why would you do?
Yeah.
Why would you have something like that? I collect them. Doesn't it? Doesn't it seem a weird thing to collect? I don't like stamps. Then what's the point? There is no point. That's the point.
Well, I think the real point was to set her a trap in case she pried into his private stuff, which she kind of did.
Yep. So, alrighty. I think that's the end of the movie, though, and the discussion. So, hopefully, you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion on this film. And if you haven't watched it, at least go out and watch it. It's definitely interesting and entertaining. If you go into it, go into it with an open mind, and maybe you might like it. Maybe you might dislike it. Maybe the situation will disgust you. But in any case, let's talk about the let's talk about the production. So, Boris, what did you think about production overall?
Uh, I think it was, well, for what they were trying to do, they did it well enough, but I found it, like I said, kind of annoying that they did things the way they did to begin with, like the fragmented storyline jumping between the present and the past, and therefore making some things confusing, yet some other things too predictable, some parts dragging on too long to happen, and some things not being revealed explicitly enough, like how exactly the girl got the chemical into her eye, or what exactly the parents were discussing when Kevin overheard them, or even that shooting at the end, I couldn't really figure out what exactly he did in that room that he sealed up with those bike lockers, or whatever the English word is. Like, I had to read on Wikipedia what the hell was actually happening there.
Well,
Uh,
uh, they made you think that he killed a lot of people, but there were
uh,
only a few survivors. Like the dude that
uh,
came up in a wheelchair and told the mom how he was doing.
uh, yeah. Yeah, so they were actually trying to make the movie kind of difficult to understand and trying to make you pay full attention. And if that was the point, they did their job well enough, but I personally would have preferred a more straightforward story.
It's a movie that wanted to make you think and wanted to make you think about, oh, okay, what did happen? It gave you some pieces of a puzzle and left you to puzzle some of it out. Whether it
Yeah,
did or didn't happen this way, or whether it did or happen the way that you think it did.
and in some cases I find that interesting in movies, and truth be told, maybe I would have liked it better in this one too if I wasn't in a really bad mood while watching it, because some shit happened to me earlier today. So, apologies to everyone if I sounded a little grumpy during this discussion.
Not a problem. Heading over to you, Tammy. What did you think about production overall?
Um, I guess I kind of agree with Boris that I don't like that it jumped around as much as it did. You know, I mean, we've watched plenty of movies that they do that, but I mean, I think it did it a little bit too much, and I think that there were a few things that they could have elaborated on a little bit more than they did.
Yes.
Than they did, but I mean, yeah, but it did, like you said, David. It did make you think, and it made you made you pay attention because if you didn't, you weren't gonna realize where you
You weren't all
were.
going to understand shit if you weren't paying attention all the way.
Right. So I'm kind of in the middle about how I feel about the production. So
Yeah, I think they could have elaborated on a few things. I think they could have slowed it down between the whatever, but I guess they did it in. It was a messed up situation. So to show all the background through the mother's eyes, I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it. So at
Ooh,
the end of the day, it's not that I think they. I think it's an okay film. It's not as messed up as some films that I've come across,
oh yeah.
where I just can't watch it. I could piece together the film pretty good after a bit. If see, I like predictability. I like the fact that okay, I can predict that some of these people are going to die. I like that about a film. If something is predictable, I don't find anything wrong with predictability.
Huh,
I
interesting.
predictability is said like it's a bad word these days.
Well, I don't know. The death of the father and the little girl should have been shocking, but they foreshadowed it a little too much, so I saw it coming, so it wasn't so shocking.
Oh, that's okay. They'll shock you with another movie. So
Yeah,
there's
probably.
always going to be a movie that will shock you in the future, or maybe you're too insensitized by some of these movies by now.
Well, maybe I am, but still, I can at least be surprised. Like, holy shit, I didn't see this coming. But in this case, sorry, I did see it coming.
And predictability seems to bore you.
Sometimes. I don't know, maybe there are cases when it doesn't, but Yeah, in this case, I do think they could have put the storyline together better.
Hmm. Well, I do believe that something bad was going to happen. So something bad was predictable. I just didn't know how bad. And no, they didn't show it at all. They didn't really. They showed some of the aftermath, you know, and
Yeah,
I wish they would have showed it. I wish they would
actually,
have showed him actually pulling the well, they showed him pulling the bow, but they didn't show the arrow going into the victims, and they didn't show the blood, the guts, and the gore.
uh, yeah, and not only that, but we weren't even told things like where exactly the victims were when he shot them, how many of them there were to begin with.
Well, yeah, and I'm
Uh,
still trying to understand where the blood came from on the house that she was cleaning.
I thought that was fake blood thrown by those angry people who wanted to vandalize her property. It was probably just paint thrown at her place to remind her of what her son did or something like that.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure because I feel like didn't the husband and a daughter like get shot in the backyard? Like it's like they didn't die like in the front house of the house, did they? And then there's blood. There was blood on the inside of the house too. You know, so when she first woke up in the very beginning, so I was confused a little bit that way. But
Yeah.
as far as anything goes, I thought it was an okay production. I hope Tammy realized that there was a moment where she was wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
he was wearing that shirt first, and then after he died, after she was wearing it too because it was his shirt.
Yep.
wait, I'm sorry, who was wearing it earlier? The husband or
Yeah,
Kevin?
the husband was wearing it earlier.
Ah, that slipped my mind.
So she was wearing it after she found him, I guess.
Huh.
But alrighty, well, uh, did anyone notice any music?
Oh, actually, yes, there were quite several songs throughout the movie, and they sounded kinda cool.
Yeah, I thought the music was actually an interesting soundtrack.
Yes.
Let's see if I can look up some of it. I actually was going to look up some of them because some of them actually sounded pretty old. All right. Get out of the quote section. Go down. Oh, or maybe up. Okay, soundtracks. Okay, Mule Skinner Blues by Lonnie Donegan, Ham and Eggs, performed by Lonnie Donegan. Every Day by Buddy Holly. Nobody's Child by Lonnie Donegan. Mother's Last Word to Her Son by Washington Phillips. Last Christmas by Wham. In My Room by the Beach Boys. WWOOOOO by Rory Stewart Kinnear. Tefra by Helen Gogue. Aquaculture by Jana Winderin. Once in Royal David City by Henry J. Gauntlet's Christmas Wish, Green Sleeves, Bossa by Sean Hargreaves, Ballad by Sean Hargreaves, Happy Days Cues, The Ambush by Liu Fang, which I wonder if that was the Chinese music that she was listening to,
Who?
and Farewell My Concubine, performed by Liu Fang. So,
Uh-huh.
because she was listening to some Japanese music for a little bit, and I
Cool
think it was because
Japanese.
she's been to Tokyo before, which is when she was like up in the attic and she saw and found a postcard from Tokyo, which is when she
Interesting.
was putting the map stuff up in her room. Which that was terrible. What Kevin did to her room right after she told him that this is my room. I wanted to make it special for me. You know, if you want, I can make your room special. And he's he's like, what do you mean special? Well, special like with your personality. What personality?
Yeah, in that case, what he did to her room was kind of uncalled for.
Well, yeah, but in any case, um, okay, so now we are on to favorite scenes and our favorite characters. Okay, let's start with you, Tammy. Did you have a favorite scene and or favorite character?
Uh, I guess if I have to pick a character, I guess I pick the mom because she goes through so much, and it's like nobody is there for her. She's just plugging away, especially after the incident happened.
Yeah,
And you feel so sorry for her. I kind of feel sorry for her throughout the whole movie because she keeps trying and trying and trying, and she's just not getting anywhere.
yeah,
She's not getting anywhere with Kevin. She can't get her husband to realize that there is something wrong with Kevin. And then when shit hits the fan, and now everybody's gone. He's in jail. Her husband's dead. Her daughter's dead, and everybody blames her. You know, she just she just can't get a break. It's just everybody keeps piling more and more on her, and she's just trying to continue to get through life, basically.
yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
as far as favorite scene, mm, I don't know really what to say for that. I mean,
Do you even have one?
to me, this movie didn't have any totally like outstanding scenes or like things like Boris would say sprouse. It's just because there were sprouse, but you didn't see the sprouse. So you can't say this.
Literally.
There was zero action.
So it's
How can you do a movie without action?
Uh, Pretty much.
Right?
so I guess I really don't have a favorite scene.
Which is sad because it was a okay movie. I mean, it was a profound thing that happened that you
Well, in
found
that
out about.
sense, yeah, but it was like
You didn't see it.
there wasn't anything that like jumped out because to me this was not a horror movie. It was more like a drama thriller. Okay, so you didn't really have anything that like jumped out.
Okay.
Sorry.
Heading over to you, Boris.
Oh,
Favorite scene or scenes and or favorite character or characters.
her favorite character kind of difficult to choose because I don't know. Yeah, as you know, I have mixed feelings about the mother character. I think there were moments when she really did things she shouldn't have done, but yeah, in the end, she did get it much harder than she deserved. Maybe since Kevin did what he did, it would be wrong to say that he is my favorite, but he definitely is the most interesting one to analyze. Uh, but yeah, I guess I'd go with the mother after all. And favorite scene, well, as Tommy says, unfortunately there weren't any good spoon outs where there could have been. But I think the moment when the mother took the CD and got herself a virus, that was kind of funny in a kind of morbid way, but still funny.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. That was probably one of my favorites, even though at the time it was evil what he was doing to her. But the fact that he had a virus just sitting around just for the fuck of it, that was amusing.
Well, yes, yes, it was.
But are you? Is that pretty much it then for you?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say the mother too is my favorite. Uh, and like Tammy said, because she really did go through a lot. I I absolutely do not think that she did it could do anything better than she did because that baby was crying and was not going to stop for nothing. And and in order for her to take it to a doctor, the kid would have had to have stopped crying eventually because everybody would have stared at her so darn much all the way to the doctor as if what the hell are you doing to that baby?
So other people's opinions matter more than the baby's mental health.
No, but damn it. How would you like to carry a baby to term that doesn't feel well in your stomach to begin with, then have to deal with it screaming all the time, and you're the one taking care of it 24/7? It is nonstop screaming, no matter what you're doing, no matter how nice you are being to it. It is not stopping for you or nothing. What are you going to do to make this situation better?
Well,
You haven't said
actually,
one thing that could she could have possibly done better.
going to a doctor would be exactly what I would do because I wouldn't know what else to do and who else to ask for advice.
And she would have gotten the exact same response, I think, because doctors are stupid. I honestly think most of them are, but um, half of them don't even know what the fuck is wrong with you half the time.
Unfortunately, that's often true.
But um, in any case, so to me, I don't really think there's anything she could have done in that atmosphere, the way that I am thinking. I think she was trying to do everything she could. And I really think she was doing exactly what every mother was trying to do at that age in his life. But in any case, uh, as far as favorite scene, yeah, the virus. That was my favorite scene. Even though I know it's probably wrong, because I know she was just trying to figure out what the hell he was up to. That was wicked. That was wicked of him to do. And I feel like if I'd have known anything about hacking, uh, that would have been cool to have around if my parents were trying to figure out something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even though I know this kid was bad, and whatever. But in any case, hopefully you all get a chance to check out this movie. I'm glad I finally did, because now I can know what others are talking about when they're talking about this movie, and go from there. So, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of the movie, what you thought of our discussion, and I'm sure we'll see you next time as we go on forward with the madness of Jaws as we continue to Jaws 3.
Ah,
Yes, we are continuing, as Tammy told me, the Jaws franchise. Because there's
fair
a 3
enough.
and a 4, and technically there's a 5. Which I will see if I can't find a copy of that, or actually see if you can't find a copy of it beforehand. It's called Cruel Jaws, Jaws 5,
Oh,
and, and Jaws 4 you'll eventually need too. So that way you'll be set for the discussions coming with Tammy's side of things.
uh, yes.
Alrighty. In any case, we will see you next time here on Delusions of Grandeur. Thank you so much. Everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Inside movies galore, just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.